Hello, everybody. Dan Ahmed here, your host from RSS Sports Pod. Going to introduce something completely new to you today. Today, we're going to mark the start of something a little bit different than what we've been doing. I've been talking about it for a couple weeks now, and we're finally going to think about doing it. We're going to start a Writer Sports Pod video podcast. Now, obviously, that's very different from something that we've been doing. You've either seen us on our TV show on Vimeo, and if you haven't, go and give that a look for us if you could, or maybe audio as you've heard us on our radio show, Writer Sports Spot, although we've had for a couple of years now. I'd like to thank 1077 The Bronx, 1077 thebronx.com for allowing us to do our radio show for as long as we did. It's simply just been something that's been a bit of a problem with scheduling and getting people to do it, so we've decided to make it a little bit easier on us. And why not try to do that with a video podcast, right? So why are we doing that? Why are we trying to really do something a little bit different this late in the game? Quite frankly, it's for comfort and for ease for us right now. We definitely want to bring you guys all the up-to-date stuff, and we've kind of been struggling to do that simply due to it being just a hectic semester. But that's where this stuff comes in. Whenever we feel like we want to talk about something or something that we just want to just sort of rattle off in a couple minutes, we can definitely just launch one out, and everything could work out, and you can see it on the site, we can see it on the blog, you'll see it on our social media. Don't worry, you'll see it everywhere. We got you. But you'll be able to see that, I think, a little bit easier than having to sort of schedule when you want to hear us on the radio show or, whenever a TV show comes up and things like that. So it makes it a little bit easier that way. Also, we're not completely restricted time-wise. As you know, for our radio show, it normally ran about 45 minutes or so with commercials and everything. It was sort of a little bit more restrictive that way. This time, you won't necessarily need that. It'll be kind of uninterrupted. We're just sort of rattling off against each other. We'll probably do a lot of joking. It'll be a little bit more casual, than what we did the radio show. We don't have to be as professional. We don't have to really necessarily sort of watch what we say in a way. With that said, we do plan on being uncensored. On the radio show, we had to follow FCC rules. Obviously, there's certain words you can't say, and we're obviously not going to be completely dirty here either. We're going to be as professional as we can in terms of our language, but sometimes things happen. When we're passionate about something or something that we generally feel emotions for, sometimes things like that can happen. So, we're going to start a video podcast. This is sort of the first disclaimer. If you all are watching this, thank you for going on to our social media sites and checking it out. And hopefully you'll be coming back to watch the other stuff that we have in store on the video podcast. We're going to have many different people here. Different spur of the day. If I can tell you guys when to release it, I will beforehand, before it comes out. But in terms of scheduling it, what day of the week it'll come out, we don't really know. That's kind of the beauty of it. We can send it out, 3 a day. We can send out, 1 a day. We can send out 2 a week, 3. It all depends on what's going on in the sports world and, sort of how we get it all together. So we can definitely figure all that out. But you will know ahead of time. I will announce this, the start of a podcast. With the exception of this one, I'm just going to launch this one with the social media post. But when we do a podcast, I will let you guys know that we're filming one or that we're about to, what you guys want us to talk about. Maybe we can do that. I can read off user comments. We can make it a little bit easier for everybody to sort of coincide together. We can sort of, mesh and make all that work. So user feedback is very important. With our social media sites, on our Facebook, on our Twitter, on our blog, whatever you guys want us to talk about, please let us know. And right before the podcast, I'll let you guys know that we're filming, what we should talk about, and then you guys can take care of that for us. So it's definitely great to get that sort of feedback, and it makes it a little bit easier. I think we can sort of be a little bit easier with what we're seeing and being able to give you the best content possible. So here at Writer Sports Pod, we want to give you all the newest sports, all the information that matters during the week, during the month, during the entire year, and giving it to you as quickly as possible. And that's how we think this is the next step. So starting soon, hopefully with this weekend, we're going to have an episode up. We'll try to get Carlos Del Cid, who's a big star on our radio show that you've heard, and is also a director and a producer on our TV show. You'll definitely see him probably say a few words and then talk on our podcast. We're going to have people like Chris Horton, Mike Umbro. Who knows? Possibilities are endless. Everybody you've heard in our radio show will make a return to the video podcast as much as we can or whenever we can. You'll see different people coming in and out. Sometimes it may be just me. Sometimes it may just be me and some other person. We're going to try to keep it at about 3 people, sort of keeping it to what we did on the radio show, simply because that keeps the conversation going a little bit easier. But it makes things, I guess, easier that way. So we'll definitely try to do that. But that's the beauty of it. You never know what you're going to get here at the Writer Sports Pod video podcast. And that's the beauty of it, because then, the sky's the limit. You can get an entirely different experience every time, which keeps things fresh. So that's always fun. So, welcome, for those that have heard me ramble on for the last few minutes, welcome to the first inaugural video podcast. This one isn't as filled with sports stuff as you'd like, but don't worry, the next episode will definitely be talking about a lot of big things that have happened in the world of sports this week. We're going to be talking about Giancarlo Stanton's massive contract with the Miami Marlins, making him the highest paid player in baseball history. We'll talk about Adrian Peterson and his whole child abuse case, since that's recently actually made a breakthrough, and everything else in sports that matter to us as well. Who knows? You may see some of your favorite segments on the radio show make an appearance here as well, but you're going to have to watch and find out. So here's episode 1. Here's to a bunch more. Let us know what you want us to talk about in our next episode. I'll mention it in the social media of all sorts that we have. I say social media because we're on a lot of stuff right now. So let us know in the comments what you want us to talk about, and we will definitely take it into account. We may even mention you on an episode. If you mentioned it, we like your idea, and we'll go off of that. So without further ado, this is Dan Imat for the first inaugural video podcast, and we will see you all next time.